Hello guys, you're welcome to a new tutorial. Now today we'll be learning how to make this corset top. I have this leather fabric that I'll be using to replicate the style on the thumbnail. So let's get started. Now the first line we'll be marking is 1.5 inches for our shoulder line. So you go ahead to roll the line. We'll be drafting both the front and the back on the same paper. I like doing that. After that, from the starting line of the paper, I'm going to mark my waist length of 20 inches, breast point of 12, under bust of 16. Then I'm going to roll it all the way to the end of the paper. Then I went ahead to indicate the breast point line, on the bust, waist length. So from the waist length, guys, I went down by 6 inches. That is where I want the length of this top to stop. Then I'm going to go up from the breast point by 1.5 inches. That will indicate the chest line. That becomes the chest line for both the fronts and the back. Then I'm also going to square it up. I also went ahead to write the chest line, then that line up indicates the shoulder line. Then for the back, I mark 1 inch all the way down. That is our zip allowance. So now that we have most of the lines, let's get started. So I'm going to mark 3 inches for the neck width of the back. Then I'm going to extend the line upward. Now you need to watch this part carefully. From that line, I went up by 1 inch. You know we have 1.5 inches there. I went up by 1 inch. That is where the back shoulder slants will be. So I put my tape ruler from the upper part there, and I make sure my tape is touching 7 inches on the shoulder line. This is constant for the back. Then I went ahead to now mark my actual shoulder measurement of 16 inches divided by 2. That is 8 inches. Then I connected it from the shoulder slant there to the 8 inches. So the line between the shoulder line and the chest line, I divided it by 2. That is where I will put in my across chest back. Now for the across chest back, mine is 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. Now on the chest line, I put my round bust measurement of 44 divided by 4. Then I also put the across chest back on the chest line so I can roll a straight line upward like that. Then we are going to be connecting the 3 points together. Now from the shoulder of 8 to the across chest point, then I now extend it to the round bust measurement of 11 inches. Now let's come to the front to form the front armhole. So the front is going to be 3 by 3, that is 3 inches for the neck width and 3 inches for the neck depth. Then I'm just trying to get a square so I can get a curved line. Then I rule it in a box. So I'm going to be coming in from that point by 1.25 so I can get a proper neck curve. Now we are doing the basic block first before the alterations later. So my shoulder is 16 divided by 2, I have 8 inches. I'm going to be adding 3 inches shoulder dart, making 11. So see the way I place my tape. Now you're going to intercept, you place it on 8 inches. Make sure your tape of shoulder measurement touches the line. Then you now mark 11 inches from that point. That is how you get your slant, your shoulder slant for the front. We got the back, now for the front. So if you want to get your chest line for the front, from your neck depth to your breast point, you can divide it by 3, or from your chest line just go up by 2 inches. That becomes the across chest line for the front. So I'm going to be putting the across chest measurements. Is 16 inches divided by 2, we have 8 inches. Then from the breast point, I went ahead to put the nipple to nipple measurement. So I'm using 4.75. That is 9.5 divided by 2. So from the under bust, I'm using 1 inch as that intake on both sides. I also put it on the waist line. Then I'm going to roll it. So from the breast point, I'm coming down by 1 inch. Then I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect it from that 1 inch to the under bust line. I'll do the same thing for the other side. So for the hem, the hip line, I mark half inch on both sides. Now this is because we want to tighten the down parts for the style we are going to be creating. Then let's come back to form our armhole. Now what we have left between the shoulder slant is 5 inches. You know the shoulder is 8 inches minus 3 inches for the neck width, we have 5 inches. That 5 inches we divide by 2, we have 2.5. So I'm marking 2.5 from the neck width and from the other side. So what I have in between is 3 inches that I added to the shoulder measurement of the front. So if you get your calculation right, your 3 inches should be complete. So I mark it, then I'm going to connect it to the breast point. Can you see what I'm doing? So that is our shoulder dart. That is the dart for this pattern. Then guys, I'm going to now replace that dart, because you have to replace it back so that your pattern will not be short. So on the chest line also, you put the across chest measurement, then you also replace the darts, whatever measurement it gives you there, you replace it. Now let's connect the lines. So from the shoulder line, you connect to the across chest line and to the chest line. Can you see it? So on the chest line, I'm going to put my round bust measurement of 11 inches. Then I also replace that dart. So for us to get a proper curve, from the shoulder line to the across chest line, divide it by 2, then come in by 0.25, so that you can get a good curve for your armhole. Now let's connect it together. So you connect to the across chest line, then from there to your chest line. So guys, I'm just using different marker because my markers are messing me up. Now I'm going to calculate this armhole now. So when you calculate from the beginning to the end, whatever the back gives you, continue from the front. So guys, I have a little bit higher than my armhole of 19 inches. Now your pattern, if it's higher than your normal armhole, it is good. What you're going to do is come up from your chest line for both the front and back by half inches. Now if your pattern is tight, if your armhole is tight, you go down from your chest line by half inch. Then you now reconnect your armhole rule your armhole so that when you measure it, you can get what you want. So it is better this way. Is either you go down by ½ inch or you come down by ½ inch. Yeah, so now let's measure it all over again. Now when I measure all over again, I now got 19 inches. So I have my armhole ready. So on the under bust, I'm going to put my under bust measurement. Then I'll add the 2 inches that I'll replace it back. I'll do the same thing for the waist, my waist measurement plus the 2 inches that. Now on the hip line, I'm going to put my hip measurement. Now you don't have to replace the 1 inch for tightening for a box effect, or you can replace it if you are not sure of yourself. So this is me now using my ruler to connect all the lines together. Now let's come to the back. So for our back dart, I added 0.25 to the back dart. My nipple to nipple measurement that I use for the front is 4.75. For the back, I make it 5 inches. On the waist line, I'm going to take that of 0.75 on both sides. Then I'll connect it to the chest line, just the way you see me doing, like that. Then I'll also connect to the hip line. Then guys, I'm going to be putting the waist measurement plus our dart of 1.5 on the length there. I'm putting my hip measurement. I'm going to be connecting all the lines together. So guys, this time around I'm using a biro, all my markers, and this particular day is on a Sunday, so there's no way I could get a new marker. So bear with me, increase your light. So we are closing our darts now. Now I'm going to be folding from one dart to the other. You can see the way I'm placing it very close to the end of my table. Yeah, so you can do that so that it can be easy for you to close. So you close from one dart to the other, then you connect your shoulder line proper. Now I'm using my tracing wheel to just trace it. So whatever dotted line I'm seeing there, I'm going to connect it. Now if you don't have a tracing wheel, it doesn't matter. If you want to cut your shoulder, just close from one shoulder dart to the other, then you can close it up. Now this tutorial is without a yoke, it's just a band that it have. So this is me rolling the middle, because when you close your dart, it's going to give you a crease line. So I roll the middle so I can get my midpoint. Now to tighten our over bust from the breast point, I'm going up by 4.5 inches because I want it to cover. I don't want much cleavage to show. So you can do 4 inches or 4.5. Now from the top part there, I'm just marking it. I have 7.5, so it is okay for me. From this middle line, I'm taking 1 inch on both sides. That is for the tightening. So 2 inches is okay to tighten your over bust, because we are forming our cup now, the corset itself. So you take your curve ruler and you are going to connect it from the tightening. You take it to your breast point. That way you do the same thing on the other line. Then in order to check if the lengths are going to be equal when you cut it, measure from the breast point of the center front, then you measure from the breast point of the side front. So whatever the center front gives you, mark it on the side front. So you now take your ruler and you're going to connect it to your new armhole, the new armhole of ½ inch that we came up. Yeah, so you just connect it that way. So can you see it? Then on the breast point line, I'm going to be coming up by 2 inches Now we are forming the breast apart, that is the center of the corset. Then I'm marking 0.75. I'm using 0.75 now, not half inch, because I'm a bit busty, so it's good to use 1 inch or 0.75. For people that are not busty, you can use half inch. Then you connect it to your over bust. Then you take your curve ruler and you place it like that. Make sure what you have in between there should be up to 1.5, so you can get a proper curve. Now from the side, I'm going to be coming in by 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect it from the under bust line. Just take it upward to touch your armhole line. So guys, that becomes the new line. Yeah, so that is where we are going to cut from. Now I'm going to extend the line of the back darts to touch the new chest line, so that we can also tighten the back so it will be firm. Now I'm going to tighten with 0.25 on both line. Then you connect it to your waist line. So when you do that, your back is not going to gape. Now guys, in order to also avoid any zip bulge, I'm going in by 0.75 from the starting line of the back. I'm going to connect it to the chest line like that. So my zip allowance is 1 inch. I'm going to mark 1 inch from now the new line of the back. Then I'll connect it to the chest line, so that becomes the new zip line. Then guys, for our strap, I'm using 2 inches for the strap. So from the dart line towards the side front, I'm marking 2 inches. I'm going to roll that one upward. Yeah, from there I'm also going to mark 2 inches. Then I'm going to roll it. So that becomes the front strap line. For the back strap line, from the darts, now you can do either on both sides. You can either decide to do the darts coming to the neckline, or the strap should go to your armhole line. It depends on you. So I'm marking 2 inches as well, and I'm also going to roll it upward. So this is now the strap for both the front and the back. Now to get our backs effect, that is on the thumbnail you are seeing that the top has a V kind of. So you close your waist dart from one dart to the other, close it. Also close the hem darts. Yeah. Now you are going to take a ruler. I'm going to connect it to the waistline. Now I'm using the 6 inches because for people that have this down tummy, so you can cover it properly, you can use 6 inches. But if your tummy is flat or you want it shorter, 4 inches is okay from the waistline. Then you connect it to your, then you roll it, yeah, cut it up to your waist, to your side. Yeah, just the way you see me doing like that. Then I'm going to, now let's do something. You know, the difference between my front waist and my back waist is 2 inches. So we already have half inches shortage there, because from the 1.5 inches I only went up by 1, but for the front I used the exact 1.5. Now this is what we are going to do. From the waistline, I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches. So plus half inch here and 1.5, making 2 inches that I'm cutting off. Now, if the difference between your waistline is 1.5, you're going to use 1 inch. Then on the side seam, I'm raising it up by half inch so that I can sit properly on my actual waistline. So I'm connecting from the 1.5 to the half inch of the back. Now, before I cut this, I was supposed to connect it to the new half inch on the waistline. So this is me closing back my darts. Then I'm going to reel it up to the half inch. So that becomes our new waistline. So like I said, even if your difference between your front or your back is more than 2 inches, don't go beyond 2. It will align properly on your waistline. So now we are cutting our pattern now. So take it to the half inch on the side. Then I'm cutting it up to the 1.5 inches I came up on the waistline. Now this, I'm doing this because the back is going to be on the waistline. So I'm adding 1 inch sewing allowance. If you are doing a full length that does not have any joining on the waist, you don't need to go up by that 1.5. It will blend with itself. Just do your normal measurements. So I'm cutting off the strap now. I'm taking my time to explain this to you guys. If the difference between your front and back is 1.5, go up from your waistline of the back by 1, because we already have half inch difference from the shoulder. So I hope you understand. So this is me cutting the back strap. Now I'm going to be writing up, down, then I'm writing the part as is towards the armhole side. So I like labeling all my patterns so I don't get mistake. So let's come to the front. Now I'm cutting off the darts. So I'll stop at the breast point. I'll cut the second dart and also stop at the breast point. Now I'll now try and close my darts. Now the new tightening, I'm going to fold it to the other overbust tightening. So you can see that it is the same with that measurement we did. So our neck is now the same. Now I'm going to use my maxing tape to close the darts up to the overbust tightening. So we are going to cut our pattern now. I'm cutting it. You know, we are using the new chest line. Now I'm going to be removing the strap for the front. So guys, if you've gotten to this point, I'm also writing up and down the armhole side. Yeah, kindly give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Leave a comment for me, let me know your thoughts, it will encourage me more. So I'm indicating front pattern and back pattern. So our strap is ready. Now let's continue cutting. Guys, kindly hit the like button now so that you don't forget. It encourages us when we see likes, you know. So I'm just writing, labeling my pattern, center front, side front. You have to label all your patterns. Now you notice the thumbnail is a 3-part corset. So this is what we're going to do. On this side, I'm going down by 2.5 inches. Towards the front side, I mark 2 inches. I'm going to increase it to 2.5 inches later. Then I take my curve ruler and I connect it to the other side. So like I said, I realized that point is small, so I'm just going to increase it. Then you also label your pattern so that you know which side is going to which side. So put the same labeling on the sides you are cutting from. Like I said, I increased it to 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect it to the other side. Then I went ahead to cut. So this way it is better for me when I close it, so that I have one piece. Yeah, the upper part is one piece. Then I'm going to open that one. You can either open it so you cut it, or just follow the line it is giving you. So can you see? So we have our 3 parts corset ready. Now let's continue cutting. So for the back also, I'm writing up and down, center back, side back. Then I'm going to remove the darts, cutting off the darts. I'm also going to use my biro to write sewing allowance and also indicate that that part I'm joining it together. Then I'm going to remove the 0.75 zip bulginess that we're trying to avoid. So it is good to label your pattern because sometimes the back always look the same. So we are going to be placing this on a straight line. So that's why I said it's good to label. Now you are going to tilt it inward, but make sure your armhole line touches each other. So if your front shoulder is going in, it is okay, but your armhole doesn't have to lap on top of each other. Let it just touch each other. Then use your tape to secure it down. So we are going to be cutting this on fold. So we have our strap ready. Now the strap length is 14.5. So our next tutorial will be the sewing part. Bye guys.